Michelle, thank you so much for having us today and finding time to meet us.
Well, thank you, Yanni. It's a pleasure to talk with you.
Michelle, can you tell us, please, what is your role at the Museum of Art?
Well, as Director of Education, I lead an amazing team of educators who are responsible for everything from gallery interpretation, so when there's a video or a tablet or something, an app in the gallery or in the park, to all the way to school teacher programs, the tour experiences, camps, digital and online learning, our online courses, all of those things come underneath our team. So it's an exciting series of programs. I never, ever get bored.
Wow.
Always learning something.
You have such a large expertise. So how many people are all together, do you think, running this place, making it what it is today?
Great question, because so many people have no idea of the work that it takes to operate a museum. So you have hundreds of people that are on the operational level, from security and housekeeping to conservation and treatment of the works of art. The registrar keeping up with the traffic of loans that are coming in, loans from our museum going out to other museums, art handlers. So there are literally hundreds of people that work at North Carolina Museum of Art. But like I just said, it runs on volunteer power. Without our volunteers to be able to engage the public in park tours and park cleanup and all of the different things, our museum would not be as successful and able to meet our mission as we can.
That's wonderful. I love it.
Okay.
Michelle, I know you're an artist yourself, and you're an amazing artist.
Oh, thank you.
How did you become an artist, and how from artist you become the director of learning and educational programs at the Museum of Art? How that happened?
So, you know, it's funny because I grew up in a family of makers. You know, my grandmothers were quilters. My dad is, you know, has an amazing wood shop. But working in a museum was not a career that I understood what that even meant. So it's great that you're having this conversation, that you're increasing awareness for other people.
Yes.
So I received my Bachelor's of Fine Art in Painting and Art Education at East Carolina University, and went on to pursue my master's and taught in the classroom, middle and high school art, technology, and a few other things for about 13 years. Prior to coming to the museum, when there was an opportunity to begin a teen and college program and our online course programs. So that was an amazing opportunity. I sometimes miss the classroom, but there are so many opportunities to teach in a museum setting that is always engaging. I constantly am trying out new strategies and learning and supporting other teachers. So it's very exciting.
Michelle, did you just recently receive the National Museum Educator
Yes, I did.
Of the Year award?
Yes, the National Art Education Association is recognizing my work. It's an outstanding honor that I feel reflects on the team that I serve, that I manage, and the work that they do. So I'm very proud to be
my
chosen
applause.
for that. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, and tell me more about your art. Like, what do you create as an artist?
I primarily work in landscape. I also, as a mom who's balancing full-time work and full-time, soccer practice and everything else, I also have relied on my visual journal, which is sort of like a sketchbook, but much more of a mixed media work that I've been doing for probably about 15 years. So I work in layers. I love to explore the layered history of places and people, collage, drawing, paint. I'm also drawn to color. And not only trying to capture the atmospheric effects of light, but my emotional connections to a place. So and when you work in a place as inspiring as the North Carolina Museum of Art, it's always shifting and changing from all the different inspirations. There are a number of people here, everyone from art handlers to educators that work in some art form. And I think that it brings a lot to the work that we do here at the museum, but we also bring this work into our own personal practice.
So do you have any art that inspires you the most here at the museum? That's something you go to and you say, that fulfills me greatly?
Absolutely. I definitely have some old friends that I love to visit every time I do a walkthrough in the museum. But when I'm asked what my favorites are, it's hard to say one favorite because that's always shifting.
Right.
You know, whatever movie I watched over the weekend or conversation I had with a friend influences the way that I see a work of art that I might have known for like years and years, but I noticed something different. Or the pairings. You know, we were talking about how pairings works of art bring a new perspective, that now that I'm looking at a 17th century painting next to a contemporary work of art.
So you are an artist, you are an educator, you are director of education and learning, and you're a mom. So how can you combine all this together?
A lot of support, both within work and family and everything else. And it's been a wonderful thing to have my own kids to grow up within the museum. You know, sometimes I remember when I first started working here, my youngest son taking naps underneath my desk and, you know, growing up going to camps, and they just by default of being, you know, my children, they would volunteer at festivals that I was working, and just the experiences that they've had because of those opportunities have shaped them. And also it's been another way to experience what I do with them. I have memories of bringing my oldest son here when he was little, and he loved to dance on the amphitheater stage.
Oh, great.
He's probably going to hate me telling that story. But, you know, he has memories of all of that. So the park has been a special place for us, and we come a great deal on the weekend to just ride bikes, walk in the park, and explore that side of the museum. So I think that that was probably their first experience, once they had the toe in the water of that. They also love to spend time in the galleries. Every time that they're both here, they have favorite works of art that they like to explore.
So it looks like the Museum of Art is for everyone, for children, for adults. So how are the people with special needs? Can they enjoy the museum?
Oh, we hope so, absolutely. That is part of our mission, is that it is the people's collection that we're sharing with the people of North Carolina. So accessibility is a priority for our museum. Any hearing loss, any visual impairments, any physical limitations, that regardless of those, if we can design at the margins with those as our top priority, then that improves the experience for everyone. So absolutely, that is a high priority for North Carolina Museum of Art.
I love it. So do you think people need to know a lot about art to appreciate it? What do you think?
That's a great question, because two parts of that question, as far as is it necessary to already have knowledge about art to be able to come and experience a museum, but also the word appreciate is something that is so loaded. Art is a catalyst for exploring the world and life. So sometimes you may have experiences that might be works of art that you don't necessarily appreciate or like, because they question your views, they question your perspectives or a history that you associated, because now you're able to understand this in a creative way from a particular artist sharing their particular life experiences. But absolutely no, I think that there should not be any level of required prerequisite for you to be able to come and experience art, experience a museum. But the more you know, absolutely, the more you know, the more you appreciate and you gain from those experiences. So one of the wonderful things that our marketing team has done to capture our approach to all the different dimensions that we have here at the museum is this wonderful tagline, art, nature, people. And we've been thinking about how the intersections of our work in the park, our work in the galleries, as well as engaging with the visitor directly and making it a place where everyone can feel a sense of belonging. So that is definitely something that is on our minds constantly as a museum, and the work that we do in engaging the public.
Thank you so much for finding time again, and I'll be back here soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.